kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Jets, there they are. What's happening, everybody? Here we come again, the Thursday thick of it. I think I'll be doing mainly a solo show today, so it'll be kind of like the After Hours Jets Fest, maybe. GreenBean, and here we hang, as we like to say. But yeah, Gunny and Dom might jump in a little bit later. We'll see. We'll see. We can do it. Just us. If it ends up being that way, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's nice to see Eric in here and TL and Mitt Flair and Big Green. Everybody's good, dude. Everybody's good. I caught that norovirus. It's like everybody has it around here. I tried to bob and weave my way through life, and it got me. I noticed it. I was running a therapy group on Monday night, and about halfway through the group, I noticed, holy macaroni, I don't feel good. My stomach and everything. And then, yeah, I've been trying to make things work ever since, but hey, I'm good enough to do a little while with you guys today. Be honest with you, I missed it. Didn't do the panel on Tuesday, even Tigo yesterday. I set up the stream and it was like a half hour before. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm glad I'm here today. Good to see you guys. And the thing is too, man, is we have Jets news right now. News, rumors. We don't know. What's the difference anymore? We don't know. But topics, let's call them, right? We have some topics. The Jets head coach thing is picking up a lot of steam. There's a lot of names out there. The Jets, I mean, it's too, in my opinion, a little bit too much, right? Like these guys we're bringing in, I don't know what we're doing. And I'm also a fan of hiring the general manager. But here's what I think. Here's why I don't think a general manager was hired yet. I think we're hiring a general manager from one of the teams that are still playing, and they're just not, I think it's already been decided. That's what I think. They haven't interviewed. They've been with a lot of coaches, but they kind of stopped with the general manager thing. I think we got our guy. I think it's all wrapped up. And, he's kind of involved maybe a little bit. Hey, here's the guys that I really want. Flores and Aaron Glenn, right? Those are the guys. I think it's down to those two. I think Josh McCown has an outside chance. But here's the interesting thing with that. I think Josh McCown might be one of the guys that either one, like if it's Flores, I think he's going to want to bring McCown with him. He's the quarterback coach for the same team. Did a fantastic job with Sam Darnold this year. As you guys probably remember, Sam Darnold's rookie year with the Jets, McCown was the backup and was essentially his quarterback coach that year, right? So essentially, he was his player coach. So I think he did an amazing job with Sam this year. And look, it's time for the guy to go up the ranks. So I could see him very easily getting into the offensive coordinator game with the Jets, unless somebody's going to hire him for a head coach. The only thing is, too, is that Aaron Glenn I could see bringing over, too. But there's another name, guys. There's another name. I am taking care of myself. Thank you, though. I do. I take care of myself, man. It's just a crazy thing when you're hanging out in these pockets of people and everybody's breathing disease on you. It's just, it happens, I guess. I was sick not too long ago. It sucks, man. Like I was sick like 2 months ago. I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to do it. But anyway, but thank you, Sodak. I'm trying. Thank you, Boba bombs. Yeah, man. I know. I missed being over there. And those guys too. I tried to make it like, rest and take the day and make my decision later. So I was trying. I was trying to get on all the shows. But we're here tonight. We have tonight. We got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? Right, Boba Bombs? That's for you, buddy. That was for you. Ryu. Ryu Ken. That's a great name. Great game. I don't want Glenn, not because I don't like them. It's because I do like him. I don't want us to right. That's what Nick Shine was saying last week. I don't want to hire Aaron Glenn because I don't want to hate him in 4 years. Right? It's a great point. I mean, it really is. I mean, if our track record says anything, it's that it's not going to work. Well, the thing is, we're hoping that it does. Right? You got to go in. You can't not ask her to dance because you were afraid of getting your heart broken in 4 years. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You got to do it. You go through life and you keep swinging, man. You got to keep taking the swing. So, but there's another name. If it's Aaron Glenn, another Josh McCown-like individual, who do you guys think it is? I'll let you guys tell me who you think it is. If we're all into Josh McCown being the offensive coordinator, some even the head coach, right? Some people are like, make him the head coach. I mean, who knows? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be broken up about it. I would go, all right, we're taking a swing. I'm not the guy maybe I would hire per se, but maybe he's the next guy and you get him a year early, so to speak. We were talking about that last week. But what about if you look on the Detroit Lions coaching staff, the guy who holds the same position as Josh McCown does for the Vikings? Think about this. For the past 3 years, we're all Jared Goff fans now. Who's been the guy working hands-on with him? Anybody know who it is? Come on, tell me in the chat, everybody. Tell me in the chat without looking it up. I know you. Everybody can look it up. Anybody know who it is? Right. Nobody's guessing. You guys aren't guessing. Pendergast. No. Pendergast. No, Engstrand is the passing game coordinator. That's right, Zachary. Mark. Who ended his quarterback career. Does anybody know where he ended his quarterback career, Zach? Right here for the New York Jets. 17 years as a quarterback in the NFL, just like McCown. And now he's over there working under Ben Johnson, hands-on involved with the resurgence of one Jared Goff. It's actually Brunell, but yes, that's right. Mark Brunell is the quarterback coach over there. He was the quarterback here. Look, we all like to go, like we're talking about Aaron Glenn, right? Aaron Glenn, he's a Jet. He's come back to be in the Jets. Well, if Aaron Glenn comes, maybe he goes over to Mark Brunell and says, hey, buddy, I really like the job you did with Jared Goff. You're working under Ben Johnson for the past couple years, right? Ben Johnson's been there, 2 years, I think? Has it been the whole time? Let me see here. Ben Johnson. How long is he? He was he became the offensive coordinator in 2022. He bounced around quality control before that. So the last 2022, 2023, 2024 seasons, he's been the OC. Brunell's been there an extra year as the quarterback coach. He's been there the whole time, guys. Why don't we talk about Mark Brunell in the same way that we're talking about Josh McCown? He's out there, and he played for the Jets, too, for 2 years during the playoff years. The last time we were good. You ever see that video out there, the last time the Jets didn't suck? It's pretty good. It's on YouTube. I forget who made it, though. But why not? Right? What about him? Oh, Big Green's like, I looked it up, so I won't say anything. Yeah, but why not? Mark Brunell, everybody. So if Aaron Glenn comes over, maybe it's not Josh McCown. Maybe it's Mark Brunell as the offensive coordinator. Again, 17 years in the NFL. Let me tell you how many teams. So he started, he didn't really play, but he started his NFL career with the Packers in 1994. Then played for Jacksonville, went to 3 Pro Bowls. Didn't they go to the Super Bowl or some shit too? Maybe the AFC Championship game, I forget. Then he went to Washington for 3 years. Then he went to New Orleans for 2 years, and then he went right home to Papa with the New York Jets, everybody. I'll tell you what. I like it. Aaron Glenn, Mark Brunell, 2 former Jets coming. And again, everybody's got their, they're all psyched and hot and bothered about Ben Johnson. Well, this guy's been working with him for 3 years. He's his quarterback coach. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe all the Ben Johnson magic is Mark Brunell going, hey, buddy, here's what we need to do. Maybe. You know what I mean? Who knows? What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think? Aaron Glenn, and he brings over Mark Brunell and maybe even Seth Ryan, who's the assistant wide receivers coach. Rex's boy. Remember? The guy that Rex drafted Taj Boyd for because they were friends. We used a 6th-round pick on Rex's son's friend. Remember that? Then we used a 7th-round pick on that Scotty kid. Scotty McKnight, maybe? He was whose friend? He was Sanchez's friend. This fucking team. Oh, this team. This team that we have. We do some silly, silly things over the years. But I'll tell you, I would take bets. And speaking of bets, let's talk about our sponsor, everybody. BetUS, hanging out with us all season. It's been a painful season, but BetUS has been here offering you a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. All you have to do, see right here, BetUS. Go to BetUS and use the promo code YouTube150. That bonus is yours, and you'll get a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 with the same promo code. America's favorite sports book, my favorite sports book, because they've been hanging out with us all season long. I made some pretty good wagers this year, I have to admit. I did all right on BetUS. So there you go. YouTube 150, 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. They should put up there, who thinks if Aaron Glenn comes over, what's the odds on him bringing Mark Brunell as his offensive coordinator? What do you guys think of that? You guys like it? Look, Mitt likes it. I think it would be great. Why not? Like, we're all psyched about McCown. Brunell's just quietly... Dude, look at Jared Goff. The Rams couldn't wait to get rid of Jared Goff. Remember? Remember that? They got Matt Stafford. They gave 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff for Matt Stafford. And a lot of people thought they gave an extra first-round pick just so they would take Jared Goff off their hands. And look at what Brunell and Johnson and those guys did with him. A lot to be said. I don't know, guys. I think that just might be the combo. People are going to be like, I don't know. You know why? Because nobody's talking about it. So everybody feels good about Josh McCown, but nobody feels good about Brunell only because no one's talking about it. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's probably more weight behind Brunell. If you look at the job he did, granted, what McCown did with Sam is great. Well, let's look at Josh McCown. How long has he been with it? He was only 1 year, right? Let me see, 2. Joshy boy, Josh McCown. How long's he been there? He did 1 year. Dude, Josh McCown was a quarterbacks coach for the Panthers in 23 and a quarterback coach for the Vikings in 24. That's it. Why are we so hard up over Josh McCown? You know what I mean? When Brunell sitting right there, I think it's going to be Brunell. That's what I think. You heard it here first. Am I the first person you heard talk about Mark Brunell as the offensive coordinator? Come on. I haven't heard it. Granted, I've been sick, so maybe everybody's talking about it these days. I don't think so, though. You know what I mean? Right? He was. I was actually excited to get Brunell as our backup quarterback. And then Sanchez wiped the booger on him, remember? That's what he's famous for. Thanks, Dave. I'm alive, buddy. All right, let's see what we got here. Got a super chat from Wyatt. Most teams ask, how do we win a Super Bowl? The Jets ask, how do we make the play? Well, you got to make the playoffs first, Wyatt. It's been 14 years. Shit, you're only, 20? So 21 or something, I think. Well, you can drink, so you're at least maybe 22. So it's like most of your life, we've never done that. So you got to talk about playoffs. There you go. But it's very true. We just want to, I'll tell you, man, we just want to not be eliminated by fucking the end of October. We want to be in this thing. Have some football to watch. You know what I mean? All right, so here we go. Matt, thank you, Wyatt. Let's see. Wait, I saw the other comment. Where was it? You were talking about Matt Nagy. Here it is. JJ, why don't we want Matt Nagy? 4 seasons, only 1 losing. He had 2 losings. Well, one was 8-8, I believe, right? Mitch Trubisky, which I know, that's what I said. 2 playoff appearances. I know. I'm with you. I think the downside of Nagy is that he's not really considered an inspirational leader of men. So, like, when things he's like that, they go off the rails. He's not the guy. He's just not a leader. That's the thing. But you're right. Offensive mind, experienced head coach, winning record as a head coach, 2 out of 4 playoff appearances. I mean, and he works with Andy Reid in that tree. So, I mean, he's got a lot of the boxes checked. But I think he just doesn't, he leaves a lot to be desired, I think, So, and you can say it's all Vic Fangio, but, everybody likes to say things. Again, when you have, and then they say, he took Trubisky. I mean, did he? I don't know. It's usually the general manager that does that stuff. Granted, they're supposed to be in cahoots, but you never know. You never know what the deal is. He could have been like, I like Mahomes better. Who knows? I want Deshaun Watson, who up until recently was the man. That was the guy I liked, by the way. I didn't love Mahomes coming out. I did love Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was, he was spectacular. Up until the massage therapist thing, he was great. He was great. But I don't think Nagy's a real shot. I think I believe it. I think it's probably down to Flores and Aaron Glenn, both of who I'd be fine with. I mean, I'm again with Aaron Glenn. The thing is, rookie head coach, defense, the whole thing. If we do it again, but he's Aaron Glenn. He's a little different. and he's one of us. So, and he wants the job. So there's that has value too. You know, he wants to be here. But I'm a Flores guy. That's been my number 2 the whole time. If Ben Johnson would have wanted to come, I would have been cool with that too. But I think Brian, I was like Vrabel and Flores. Those were my guys. That was my top tier, and then everybody else falls underneath it. So if we got Aaron Glenn, I'd be happy with it. But I think it's important, very important, who he's going to bring in as an offensive staff. And I think Mark Brunell's the guy. Sure you can, Tony. Just do it. You gotta just get excited. You know what I mean? So Zach asks, who was a better quarterback, Mark or Josh? I would argue Mark Brunell was a significantly better quarterback. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Josh McCown's stats, just statistically, right? Let's see. Josh McCown's average, he played 16 years. He played for 12 teams, I think it was, right? Cardinals, maybe not 12. Yeah, I think he did, but like not everybody did he play for. Let me see. Josh McCown, Cardinals, Lions, Raiders, Panthers, Bears, Bucks, Browns, Jets, Eagles. Lots of teams. He's got a career completion percentage of 60.2%. He's got 98 touchdowns, 17,731 yards, 82 interceptions. Let's keep it at that. Now let's look at Brunell. What would we say? 98 and 82, 60.2%. Mark Brunell, on the other hand, has a lower completion percentage. Right behind him. So 59.5. They're in that same pocket. He's got 32,000 yards. Remember, he played one more year, but the last couple of years he wasn't playing. Well, Josh was a backup a lot too, so whatever. But he's got 32,000 yards, 184 touchdowns, and 108 picks. I mean, I think their careers are. I mean, Brunell was a starter for Jacksonville for a long time, and he was very good. Not very good. He had one 4,000-yard season. Let's see. Jack's 2,100, 4,300, 3,200, 2,600, 3,000, 36, 33, 27. So he was a good quarterback. Not great, but he was good. Comeback player of the year in 2005. Again, 3 Pro Bowl nods. You know what I mean? So let's see. Yeah, so that's the thing, Rico. It's like Josh McCown. He's only got 2 years as a coach, and both of them are as a quarterback coach for different teams. So again, I don't hate him, but it's like, where's the love coming from? People are like excited about him. I don't understand. Where you look at Mark Brunell, and he's been with the Lions. Let's take a look here. Let me see here. He's been with them since 2021, but let's see what else he did. Let's see. As a coach, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, he did. He was an assistant coach for Providence School in 2012. Then he was the head coach for 7 years of the Episcopal School of Jacksonville. So he was a head coach, granted, not an SEC powerhouse or anything, but you know, right? I mean, come on. It sounds like it makes sense to me. It makes sense. He could start for us right now, Mark. Right. Brunell could come in and win some games. I like it. I like it. I think Brunell, you're hearing it first. If Aaron Glenn is the head coach, Mark Brunell will be the offensive coordinator. He'll come back to the team that he ended his NFL career at, 2 consecutive playoff years. Not bad. He's got good memories here. And that's hard to do, everybody. Jake checking in with his StreamBeaner membership super chat. Thank you, Jake. One of us just hopped in. I'm all about Glenn, knowing he's as dumb as us and wants to be here. Right. If you're that stupid and want to be here, we'll have you. Right? Why not? Yeah, I don't know. I think he's doing a good job in Detroit. Let's take a look at Aaron Glenn. How long's he been coaching? He started his he was a scout. You know how he broke in? The Jets. So he's been here as a player and he's been here on the personnel side. So don't forget that, guys. He's been here twice, Aaron Glenn. A lot of people don't remember that. So let's see. As an administrator, 2000, he was the general manager. Listen to this. Of the Houston Stallions, guys, which is an indoor football team. He was the general manager over there and then broke into the NFL as a personnel scout. 2012 and 2013 with our very own New York Jets. As a coach, he was an assistant defensive backs coach for the Browns for 2 years. Then he went to the Saints and was their defensive backs coach for 4 years. Then he's the defensive coordinator, 21, 22, 23, 24 for the Lions. And if you guys remember that hiring cycle, that's when we hired Robert Saleh. Many of us, myself included, I made videos about it on Jetnation. I wanted Aaron Glenn to be our defensive coordinator. That's what I wanted. And then it was just, remember Robert Saleh didn't even make like an announcement. It was in a press conference and he said, yeah, well, Jeff running the defense. We're like, Jeff who? Jeff who? Who's our defensive coordinator? And then we, as we know, ended up being Jeff Ulbricht, and he ended up being our head coach and all that jazz. Why not Flores, though, Jake? Why not? Everybody brings up the exact same thing. Tua. I could give 2 shits. And that was a long time ago. Like I say all the time, the reason you want an experienced head coach is because they've made their mistakes already. Rather than doing what we do every single time we watch a guy learning how to do the job right before our eyes. We have playoff championship hopes, and he's just trying to figure out which way's up. How do I manage the clock? Who is that? Grigson, right? I heard he's out. I think it's going to be Borgonzi, guys. That's who I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Borgonzi and Brian Flores. If it's Brian Flores, our offensive coordinator will be Josh McCown. If it's Aaron Glenn, I actually think it's going to be Aaron Glenn. That's who I think. I'm hoping it's Flores. But if it's Aaron Glenn, you heard it here first. Mark Brunell is our offensive coordinator. And that I'm on board with. I'm here for that, man. I'm on board for that one. Yeah, but again, like Metaball, Meatball Parm. There you go. But why? Like, I get it. Like, again, I said, would I be brokenhearted? No. I mean, okay, if they're going to take a swing. But he's only been a quarterback's coach for 2 years, only 1 year on 2 different teams. Like, why is that our head coach? Why is everybody in love with this guy? Because he was a quarterback for 16 years in the NFL and played for fucking 12 teams? Like, I don't know, man. It's a little scary to me. A little bit. Again, I'd be here for, all right, okay, we're taking a swing on the young offensive. Okay. All right. But I don't see it. it's not like, for me, it's not like, oh, dude, this is what you got to do. That's like the Liam Cohen thing. Like, I get it, but I'm not, that's too much for me, man. He's never been an offensive coordinator in one spot for more than a year. Like, where's the idea that he can build an offense? Like, anybody can step in, not anybody, but anybody with a little bit of talent can step in, especially when you got Mike Evans and Godwin. Granted, Godwin's hurt, and Baker Mayfield, and they're already playing together, and you just come in and you kind of improve. But who knows what that, let's see what he is 3 years from now. And can he hold it together? Can he build? I don't know. I know that the Skins beat their ass. The Commanders. The Skins. I still do that. Dante checking in. What's up, buddy? I love Glenn, but I want experience, and I don't want the Jets to ruin him if it goes bad. I'd rather Flores, because even if he falters, he can right the ship. Screw Fitz with his opinion. I'm the same way. That's very much where I am. Again, I believe, if you let me read you the article, okay? Well, let's see. Here it is. You guys want to see? I'm going to read you his comments. This is in August of this year. Okay? Now remember, Tua's whining. He says, if you woke up every morning and I told you that you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned the right, how would it make you feel listening to one? I mean, I don't know. I get it. You shouldn't be, but who knows if that's really what was going on? I mean, I don't know. Is that what he said? You don't belong here. I don't love you. You suck. He was probably hard on him. But so here's what Flores said. You guys listen, open your ears for a minute, because this is important, because I hear it all the time. This is the big thing against Flores that I hear the most. This was his response to the Tua thing this year. I think part of coaching is correcting. I'm always going to correct. I'm always going to have a high standard. And I think, look, I've done a lot of reflecting on that situation. Reflecting on the situation and communication. I think there's things I could do better for sure. And I've grown in that way. And I've tried to apply the things that I could do better and the things that I've learned over the last 2 to 3 years. Right? What is he saying? Yeah. Having the time to reflect, I could have done some things differently. That's exactly what you want. I don't understand. If he goes, now, if he was saying, listen, don't listen to that kid, he's a puss. I don't even know if I'd hate that so much. But he's saying, yeah, I probably could have handled that one differently. Let's see what else he says. Look, I'm human. So that hit me. This is him hearing to his comments, right? Look, I'm human. So that hit me in a way that wasn't positive for me. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? And that's really where I'm at from that standpoint. Do I feel like that's me? No. But how can I grow from that situation and create a world where that's not the case, that anyone says that about Brian Flores? I mean, could you have better? This is the guy's being humble. He's saying, yeah, man, I heard those comments. I don't like that. That didn't feel good to hear that I impacted him in that way. And I wouldn't do that again. Again, this is the whole reason why I am a fan of somebody who's done this before. And not just done it. Like, look, the Jags are interviewing Robert Saleh. Now, maybe in his second stint, he'll be good, but he did nothing. He's never eclipsed 7 wins. And don't forget, in 2022, we were 7-3, dude. We lost every game. We needed to win one more game that year, and we would have made the playoffs. He couldn't do it. So, like, if you hire Robert Saleh, you're going off that same shit that we hired him for, which is he's super motivational. Everybody loves him. He runs up the stairs, all the things. But he's done nothing. He's done nothing. Flores, on the other hand, took a team. They got rid of everybody his first year as a head coach. And he I think he was like 6 wins, whatever it was. Next year, he was 9-7. The year after that, he was 10-6. That to me, like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine a better guy. The only thing he could have that's better for me is if he was an offensive mastermind. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Thanks, Dante. Jay Taylor. Thanks, buddy. He says, no issues with Flores, but Glenn just feels right. I know, but that's because we're thinking with our emotions. And I'm guilty too, Jay. But that's really not. The good news is Glenn does look and sound like a good coach, right? So there's that. But if to make Aaron Glenn make sense over Brian Flores, it's purely emotional. Purely. There's nothing that Aaron Glenn has ever done that that eclipses what Brian Flores has done. It's very simple. I mean, can you give me something? I don't know. I can't think of anything. In Jersey City, we want Glenn. I hear you, but tell me why. Because he's a Jet. I hear you. Okay. Great defensive back. Yeah, I loved Aaron Glenn. Infrared, I remember watching that draft. I can even tell you who the Giants drafted that year because I was hanging out with Giants fans. That was, oh man, Cedric. What the? I shouldn't even have said that. Cedric. He was a linebacker. What was his name? Damn it. Now I got to look it up. Fucking infrared. Wait, hold on a second. Aaron Glenn. All right, here we go. Let me see when this guy was drafted. What year was that? What year was that? That was 1994 NFL draft. Cedric Jones? Let's see. The Jets took Aaron Glenn with pick 12. Where the oh, there they are. Wait a minute. Come on. Jets, Aaron Glenn. This thing's wrong. What are you talking about? Thomas Lewis. That's not who they took. Hold on a second. Am I mixing up my years? Oh, it's a long time ago. Maybe I am. I felt confident. Let me see. 1993 draft then. Cedric Thomas. Cedric Jones. I got to figure this out now. Now I'm crazy. All right, hold on. Giants. Where are these fucking losers? The Jets, round 2. Coleman Rudolph. Remember that guy? This was the Marvin Jones year. We traded with the cut, right? It can't be. It has to be 1995. This is nuts. I can't keep doing this. All right. Jets, Kyle Brady. This is not the same year. It's definitely, dude, this is bullshit. I remember this. Wikipedia is wrong. It's wrong, guys. 1994 NFL draft. Yeah. Let me see. Who did the Giants take? Thomas Lewis. That is not right. Hold on. Maybe it was the Cowboys? All right. I got to find this guy. Cedric. Then we took Ryan Yarborough. Oh, my gosh. Remember? Cedric Jones. Let me see something. Cedric Jones, Giants. Let me see. What year? 1996. Who did the Jets take that year? Yeah, round 1, pick 5, Cedric Jones. All right. I'm all over the place. Hold on a second here. Who did the Jets pick? All right. Who did the Jets pick? We're always up at the top. That sucks for us. Cedric Jones. Who did we pick? Because I was watching. I thought it was Aaron Glenn the same year, man. No. Oh, that was Keyshawn. That's what that was. That's right. 96. Keyshawn. I know. JV free, dude. Why are we interviewing all these losers? That's what I'm saying. Loser after loser. Except Flores, Vrabel, Glenn. They're not losers. All these other guys. I don't know who they are. Jason Edwards checking in. What's up, buddy? He says, side? Aaron Glenn and Victor Green were mean. GreenBean, who were the other 2 DBs that roamed the backfield for our Jets during that time? Well, I want to say Lonnie Young was the free safety because Victor Green was the strong safety. Well, Eric McMillan was gone. He was a safety. They tried to move him to cornerback. Who was he? Oh, Brim. Mike Brim, Jason Edwards. That's who it was. Tell me I'm right, buddy. Lonnie Young and Mike Brim. And we had Tony Stargell in there for a minute. Maybe Otis Smith. That all blends together. Were those the Otis Smith years? Tell me, Jason. I got to say. I want to say it was Victor Green, Aaron Glenn, Mike Brim, Lonnie Young. That's who I want to say it was. Lonnie Young was a badass. Anybody remember him? It couldn't have been Lonnie Young because he had 31. Shit, that was later. Brian Washington. But Brian Washington was with James Hasty. Shit. It's all smearing together, buddy. I gotta look. Once I look. Let me see something here. Wait, 1996 New York Jets roster. Let's see. All right, buddy. I can't. Ray Mickens. Gary Jones. Who the hell's that? 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. That sounds about right. Listen to this defense. We had Bobby Hamilton as the left defensive end. Marvin Washington we had him at defensive tackle that year. He was better as an end. Matt Brock, Hugh Douglas. So we pushed Marvin Washington in. Bobby Houston, Marvin Jones, Mo Lewis. That was badass. Aaron Glenn, Ray Mickens, Victor Green, Gary Jones. I don't remember Gary Jones. Let's do the 1997 New York Jets. Let's do the 1995 New York Jets. Hold on. Let me see. When did Lonnie Young come into the mix? What's going on here? Wait. 1995 New York Jets roster. All right, here we go. Let me share it with you guys. I'm doing all this shit over here and you guys can't see. Hold on. There we go. Oh, look at this. Jason. Boomer. We had Boomer Esiason, Adrian Morrell, Brad Baxter barrels for 4 yards. All right. Wayne Corbett, Charles Wilson, Kyle Brady. What a batch of skillful fellas, huh? Matt Willig, Roger Duffy, Cal Dixon, Carlton Hasselrig, and James Brown. Feel good. So here we go. Tony Casillas, remember that? We got him in the middle of the season from the Cowboys. That was fun. We had our linebacker, Otis Smith. So that's it. Remember? Lonnie Young was a little bit later. Let me see here. I fucking loved Lonnie Young. I'm mixing up my years here. Whoops. I spelled it wrong. Lonnie Young. Only 1, 2, 3 years for the Jets. That's it. So what year? 91 to 94. So he left right. That's when Aaron Glenn came and he took 31. That's what it was, Jason. I kind of got it. When's Mike Brim? Where's Mike Brim get into the mix? A little bit later. Come on. Show me Mike Brim. Come on. Remember Mike Brim? I loved Mike Brim. Mike Brim, baby. Here we go. He was with the Jets for only 2 years. What is going on? 91 and 92. Holy shit. Yeah, so it was earlier. Okay. These guys were a little earlier. That's what it was. All right. Took me a second. Not enough people talk about Flores, saying that. I know nobody does. You know why? Because it doesn't inflame. What it does, Dante, is it takes a nice cool. You ever get like a burn and they got those cooling pads? You're like, oh, my bad. You put them. You go, ah. Well, that's no longer an issue. They don't want that. They don't want that. They want to keep the narrative up. Like, look, I do a show with Tigo every week. He brings up the same shit. The same exact argument. For what? They have one reason. What else do you have against fucking Brian Flores, dude? He's a good coach. Badass, discipline, no penalties. Can you imagine the Jets being bottom 3 in penalties in the NFL? Is there a problem with this? I don't have a problem with this. Dude, get out of here with that infrared. Thank you, Dante. Roger Goodell. I mean, listen to me. What could Roger Goodell do to us that's not being done? What? Give us 8 primetime games? 3 games in 10 days? You want to do that? Maybe Roger Goodell sets us up for failure? I mean, shit, it's already been done. I'm not afraid of him. He can suck it. He can suck it with his face. Boba Bomb says, GreenBean, the reason why Saleh is getting interviews is because as soon as he got fired, the Jets went into a downward spiral. Look, yes, but dude, we're only 2 games behind his best season, buddy. His best seasons as a Jets head coach were 2 games better than this. We were in the spiral. Granted, I do agree that it got worse. Like clearly Robert Saleh had he was focused on the defense. I mean, as much as we wanted to believe that he was a CEO head coach, dude, you saw it. The defense fell off a cliff. And that was the difference in this year. Robert Saleh, his focus was defense. And that's why I want a head coach. That's why I want a guy who manages the entire team. Rico says, Saleh's, hey, buddy, I'm your best friend vibe does seem to gel with the Florida teams. If Miami needed a new head coach, I bet they would. Totally. And look, anybody have a problem? Robert Saleh seems like a great guy. And he did, he's like, I think he did some nice things. I mean, his defense was, for 2 years, his defense was among the best in the NFL. Right? At least we got that. It's too bad we didn't have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and everybody when his defense was playing well because, it's crazy, right? We had no offense. It took us until week 11 to get 9 touchdowns. which is crazy, by the way. And we had the top defense in the league. And then we're throwing touchdowns, and our defense, it can't stop anybody in the fourth quarter. It's like, it just sucks. It's our lot. No, you saw Cedric Jones, baby. Rico. Jake checking back in. No way. We have a top candidate that wants the job. He doesn't need it. Flores is a red flag machine, especially needing to develop a young quarterback. Why is he a red flag machine? Tell me. Because of fucking Tua? Because he's suing the NFL for their bull. He called out, don't forget, man, he called out all the bad practices by Miami Dolphins. Dude, they lost a first-round pick. Their owner got banned from the team for it. I mean, think about that. That's who he was working for. He highlighted all that shit going on down there. Maybe he'll show some shit that Woody's doing. When Woody's son comes in and starts saying we should draft this guy or that guy, and Brian Flores blows it up, maybe we'll finally get a new owner. if that's the route you want to go. Mitt Flair checking in. We need an experienced head coach. New York is the worst place to be a rookie head coach. We are an insane fan base, and social media only exacerbate. I could not agree more. When I was talking about being the GM and all that, and what I've been talking about for years here is these general managers and head coaches that we get here, they don't factor in something very, very important. They try to run this team like they did in San Francisco, like you did wherever else, in Tampa or in Arizona, Todd Bowles. It's like, this is not the Cardinals, buddy. That's not what this is. This is an entirely different place. And you had better come with a fucking packed lunch. You can't. And then on top of that, you got the black cloud. You got the curse. It's real. We get more injuries. Look at this is the first year that we've had, and it wasn't all season, but this is the first year that we played more games with our starting offensive line than without. In 8 years. You cannot come in here and expect your 2 tackles to start the whole season. You can't do it. You can't come in here with 1 or 2 good wide receivers and the rest are garbage. You can't do it. You gotta stock the cupboards here. And you'd better be ready with a thick skin to deal with all the bullshit that we're going to throw at you. This is not Miami. This is not Jacksonville. It's not Arizona. It's not San Francisco or Green Bay. It's New York, and it's the Jets. It's not even the Giants experience in New York, which is softer. They get a lot more benefit of the doubt than we do. We get all the bullshit. Now, could Aaron Glenn do that? Again, I don't dislike the idea of Aaron Glenn. Like I for the same reasons everybody else, but the idea that he's a better candidate for a head coach of the Jets than Flores, I don't even understand. Other than he was a Jet twice as a player and he cut his teeth as a personnel guy here. It's the only thing. That's it. Jason Edwards, right? Hey, took me a minute, man. I can't even say I was right with that answer I gave you before. I was all over the place. I was dancing around different eras. I couldn't zero in. You guys remember when the almost 3/4 of the Jets defensive backfield went to the Chiefs? You remember that? Ronnie Lott, right? Brian Washington and James Hasty all left the Jets together and went to the Chiefs. They played for a while, too. It wasn't like they were done. That sucked. I hated that. What do we got? Who else is here? Sodak checking in. Crazy thought, but what about Jason Garrett? Oh, my God, that is a crazy thought. He was garbage. Where is he, Jason Garrett? Is he doing anything? I don't even know where he is. Jason Garrett. Let me see here. Jason Garrett got run out of town in Dallas, man. So, yeah, he's the offensive coordinator. No. He's doing nothing. He hasn't worked in the NFL since 2021. He's done. He's done. So that is a crazy idea, Sodak. Clearly, Brandon. Tell me why. Why is he the better option? Tell me why. Other than because we love him. And we do. I think rightfully so. But why is Aaron Glenn a better option than Brian Flores, who's got a winning record as a head coach with a shitty team, least penalized team in the NFL? I read you guys the comments on Tua. And again, guys, that's what I want the head coach to. If I'm hiring a head coach who has previous experience, I want him to have made mistakes. I want him to make those mistakes for somebody else and come here knowing what to do in those situations. That's the benefit. You can't, you look back, oh, he was mean to Tua. I'd be mean to Tua too. Maybe not. I'm a nice guy. Jay Taylor. My bad. Forget Flores, GreenBean. Let's bring back Gase. Yeah. There you go. That's the ticket. Who needs an offensive coordinator or quarterback coach? Gase will do it all. Gase does it all, baby. Well, tell me why do you see that? Again, there's nothing to support that. There's no data. I'm just looking for facts, Brandon. Again, you can like who you want. I'm not saying that, but it's the idea that it's obvious that Aaron Glenn is a better choice. Aaron Glenn has never coached as a head coach, and he's only got 4 years as a defensive coordinator. Granted, that's enough to get a head coach job, but it's what do we have that says he is, other than we love him? It's emotional. Flores, on the other hand, was in our division. On top of that, hates the fucking Dolphins, knows the AFC East. You know what I mean? He coached here from Brooklyn, knows the attitude. You know what I mean? There's just so many. There's so many reasons for me. 9-7, 10-6 his last 2 years as a head coach. I don't know what the problem is. Curly Norman, proven head coach. Another first-time head coach on D is insanity. I know. Hey, Curly, if he wasn't named Aaron Glenn, everybody would agree with you. Everybody. Take any other defensive coordinator in the NFL. Let's see. Who do we got here? Top NFL defenses. Let's see. Who's the top? Let's go with the Titans, the Eagles. Who's the Eagles defensive coordinator? Eagles defensive coordinator. Who is it? Oh, Vic Fangio. But he's also been a head coach before, too. Didn't do so well, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Vic Fangio. He's been coaching forever, dude. That guy. Let me see. Wasn't he a head coach? I thought he was. Was he not? Let me see. Defensive coordinator. Yeah, Broncos. That's what I thought. So he was the head coach of the Broncos for 3 years. That's who Hackett replaced. They went offense. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, Vic Fangio's a name, so you might feel different about that. Who else we got? Let's look at another defense. Top defenses in the NFL. The Dolphins were the 4th overall defense. Dolphins defensive coordinator. Who is it? Anthony Weaver. Let's say we were bringing in Anthony Weaver. He's got the 4th overall defense in the NFL. Let's see. Let's see his track record here. He worked for the Ravens as a defensive line coach, assistant head coach. Think about that. He was the defensive line. Think about this, guys. So you got Anthony Weaver. He was D-line coach he was here. He was the assistant defensive line coach for the Jets. So he's a Jet too. In 2012, let me see where he played as a player. He played for the Ravens and the Texans, but he was a Jets. He broke into the NFL coaching ranks as a Jet in 2012 under Rex. Then he went to the Bills, 2013, defensive line coach for the Browns and Texans. Then he was a defensive coordinator for the Texans. Then he was a defensive line coach and run game coordinator for the Ravens. Then he was the assistant head coach and defensive line coach for the Ravens. And then he was a defensive coordinator in Miami. Why not Anthony Weaver? You want to know why? Because he's not named Aaron Glenn. He's got you could argue that's a stronger resume than Aaron Glenn. Like, that's what it is, guys. Let's be honest with each other. The reason that we want Aaron Glenn is because we love Aaron Glenn. He's doing a good job too, so he qualifies. Don't get me wrong, but the reason that we could make a case that he's a better option than a guy like a Flores is because his name is Aaron Glenn. And I love him. And I wouldn't be upset if that's our choice. But I don't see it, guys. If you're just looking at this from who's the guy that's more likely, has the track record that supports the idea that he can turn this franchise around and get us serious again, I don't think there's even as far as their track record, I don't think there's even a conversation. You're taking a leap because you love Aaron Glenn. Let's see. I don't know what that was. That's the other thing. I've heard that argument too. So you want Aaron Glenn as the head coach, Saravia. Dennis Allen, okay, as a DC. Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator, and Rizzi as special teams. I'd like to scoop up Rizzi as special teams. Some guy says Saleh was a better DC than Glenn. Yeah, well, and Glenn might be a better head coach, right? We don't know. You know what I mean? So Brandon wants me to scroll up. Let me see here. I'll take a look. Let me see. What are you talking about? Flores has an incredible... I saw that. I put that comment up there already, Brandon. Let me see here. Nitpick with Flores is 4 offensive coordinators and 2 DCs in 3 years. He had to change this fucking staff. They also flipped the whole roster on him, during his tenure. The whole roster almost. Who were the offensive coordinators? 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years? Is that right? I didn't think it was 4. Maybe. He's got to bring somebody with him that he works well with. He's got to make that choice. You know what I mean? Let's see. Jake's, I don't want to argue my dad. I mean, I just explained it. You got it. Well, maybe you're not listening to me like you don't listen to your dad, Jake. That's what it is. He's like, he just goes in one ear out the other. I just explained it. Arbiv checking in. Are they going to hire a coach before hiring a GM? Don't you think that could negatively impact the GM search? Like I said, I am pretty convinced that they already have their GM. He's just associated. He's with one of the teams that are still playing. His name is Borgonzi. And they can't say or do anything, but it's already been decided. That's what I think. When's the last GM interview that they've interviewed? Right? It's been a minute, I think. I think they already got their guy. Thanks, Drums. Thanks, Arbiv. See, I'm making sense. See, Drums thinks so. Not as a head coach. Not as a head coach. You're still taking a shot on a rookie head coach, 14 years. Yes, it would definitely bolster, no doubt. And I think he qualifies. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying like McCown to me. Like, let me say it one more time. McCown has 2 years as a coach, 1 year with the Carolina Panthers as a quarterback coach, 1 year with the Vikings as a quarterback coach. That's it. I don't know where we're getting this idea that he's going to come in and change the organization. Maybe he does. I don't know. But it's like, I like to look at things factually as best I can. I try really hard to remove emotional shit from important decisions. When you make decisions based on emotions, you make mistakes. The saying is emotions have no logic. So when you're thinking with your heart, you very rarely include logic, facts. You go, oh, but I love her. Yeah, but she's been cheating on you. She stole your car. She sliced your tie. Yeah. But I love her. She's such a good baby. It was this girl I was dating one time. We were a very tumultuous relationship. I was with her for let's say 16 months or something like that. And I worked for a friend of mine at the time. And we were on off, right? A terrible relationship for her and me, right? Like, it was just not fun. And one day he was saying to me, dude, what is it that is so alluring about this girl? You know what I said to him? This is totally true. Now, at the time, this is back in 2005, 2006, like back then. So it's a long time ago. It's almost 20 years ago. So it was a different world and I was a different person. But this is what I said to him. Dude, she's so cool. She's cooler than any chick I ever met. She actually has an alarm in her phone for Family Guy when Family Guy comes on. That's what I said. That was my answer. He went, really? That's what you got? I was fucking serious too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like but I didn't need, because like in my head, I'm thinking with emotions. It all sounds logical. And then I say it out of my mouth and it's like, well, that's dumb. That's why you got to have trusted people around you to vent your ideas and shit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a fucking chocolate carousel and I'm going to make millions. And people like, as you're saying, you're like, well, how the hell is that going to work? You know? You got to realize inside our head is fantasy land, man. Inside your head. So like, again, I don't dislike Aaron Glenn as a head coaching candidate. I'm just saying another rookie. We've done the rookie head coach thing more than any other franchise. We've also done, when we do pick rookie head coaches, their defense. So defensive rookie head coach. The only thing that makes this make sense to us is that he was a great Jet. That's it. There's nothing else there. It's still a rookie defensive head coach. That's what it is. And if you try to make other reasons, then you're making shit up. I heard a speech. Okay. Yeah, I watched Hard Knocks and all whatever else. Yeah, I saw it. It's good. I like it too. But let's not say that that's the reason he's going to, he's yelling at players about they can't play like that in practice and shit. Yeah, every coach does that. Most. Sam Aiken says, Glenn understands losing. Don't you think? He will tap into the inner angst of every Jets fat. Jets fan. Yeah, I mean, that's not a positive, buddy. Probably hates it too, just like everybody else hates it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, Sam. I mean, that's like, yeah, I get it. And like, he knows the franchise. He comes from Parcells. Like, those are positives. Well, let's not play games. He played under Parcells for 3 years. That's it. Like, we tack on this Parcells shit. He was drafted in 1994. That was Pete Carroll for 1 year. No, that was Bruce Coslett. And then Pete Carroll, 95. No. That was Pete Carroll. So then we had Rich. So he played just as long under Pete Carroll and Rich Kotite than he did Parcells. You know what? I'm just saying, guys. It's like, that's the reality. Facts. The facts are he played for Parcells 1997, 98, and 99. That's it. That's it. And he played for Al Groh. Right? When did we expose him? I forget what year. Look at Sam. Look at J-Boy. He says, I came here 100% Glenn. Now I'm leading the other way. Thank you. I needed to take the heart out of it. Yeah. And look, if I'm going to tell you right now, if they told us tomorrow the Jets are hiring Aaron Glenn, I would applaud it and I'd be happy. Why? Because I love him. And there's reason to hope that he would do a good job. And I think that he should bring Mark Brunell as his offensive coordinator, who's a better candidate than Josh McCown in my eyes. Much better quarterback in their playing days, has more experience as a coach, did an amazing job. He's the quarterback coach of fucking Jared Goff, who was a garbage throw-in in the Matt Stafford trade. They gave 2 firsts and Jared Goff for Matt Stafford. They were basically saying, take the contract of Jared Goff. We can't win with this guy. Don't forget, the Rams traded Jared Goff away and won a Super Bowl. They looked at Jared Goff as the reason, the linchpin in why they can't win. That's what they did. We need Matt Stafford. Our team is built to win right now. They did it, and they won the Super Bowl. Now, Jared Goff had to go to the Lions and be built again. And Mark Brunell's been there the whole time doing it. I don't know, man. Sounds like a good candidate to me. I don't know if he can call plays, though. But hopefully he can. And he's hanging out with the guy that everybody's got a hard on for, Ben Johnson, for fucking 3 years. Dante checking back in. Head coach Flores, offensive coordinator, someone who calls plays. Defense, someone who calls plays. Special teams, Rizzy. Well, let's say offensive coordinator Mark Brunell, Dante. There you go. You know what I mean? Do it. It's a good point, though. I need somebody to call plays on both sides of the ball. That's all I need. It's like Woody last year. He goes, what do we really need on offense? A tackle, maybe another tackle, a couple guards. It's like, oh, is that it, Woody? That's all we need? That's all we need. What? It's a big deal. Wide receiver? No big deal. Fucking guy's crazy. JV says there's no reason to go with either one of those guys. Who's better? Munkin is another one. I mean, I don't dislike him, but what the fuck has that guy done? as far as a head coach. Now, he's got lots of coordinator experience. He's an offensive mind. So if that's what if you're going to go with a rookie head, now he's been a head coach in college, so I guess he got that. I don't know. I haven't seen too many college head coaches come to the NFL and do well. Who's the guy? Who's an example? Can we think of one? I can't. Kingsbury sucked. Even get great guys. Urban. What's the guy? Holy shit. The guy from Florida. What the fuck was his name? You can see his face. And then you even had Saban. He came here. He sucked too. The greatest college coach of all time, him and Urban Meyer, and they sucked in the NFL. Why do we think that coaching at South Carolina, whatever, is going to mean, But he's been in the NFL for a long time. But who else? McCarthy? Yeah, okay. With Aaron Rodgers again? Didn't Aaron Rodgers get him fired last time he was in Green Bay, mid-season? You know what I mean? I don't know. Oh, Gunny's here. Hey, what's up? How long you been here?
Minutes or something's back here just waiting on you.
Oh, shit. I didn't even see. Gunny, let me get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn. Tell me I don't know what side you're on. I'm talking about Flores versus Glenn, really. Okay. And people are telling me that Glenn is the obvious choice. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to say, give me facts that support that. Versus, and I read the response from Flores this year about his time with Tua and all that kind of shit. But so just from your vantage point, who do you like? If it's those two guys, who do you want and why?
Bill Parcells, Peyton, and Campbell. I think we can all agree are some of the better coaches of the 21st century. Actually, Bill Parcells before that, but he was one of those legends in the game. Aaron Glenn has been mentored by all of them. Aaron Glenn has been mentored by all three individuals. He's got experience with all three individuals. I've gotten to that point now where, I was really, really keen on going offensive minded. I really wanted to go offensive minded. I think that I want to see a 21st century offense for the first time in the 21st century by the New York Jets. I feel like when I watch other teams play football, it's just unfathomable to me that the New York Jets can one day or maybe be those teams, because we just don't look like what we see on Sundays and Monday nights and Sunday nights. So it just, to me, I was really keen on that. And then the guy that I was really excited about, a guy like Ben Johnson, turning us down. You haven't seen, the names of Liam Cohen, the big name guys who you would want to go ahead and see potentially in the role. Either turned us down, or for some reason we're not reaching out to them, which is leading me to believe that those individuals have respectfully behind closed doors stated, I'm good. So Aaron Glenn to me makes a lot of sense because, one, he's a Jet. He's a New York Jet. He's already exclaimed he's passionate about this role. This is his first choice. You know what I'm saying? So we have the first right of refusal because he's already kind of come out and stated to his peer group that this is the team he wants to be with. He's been mentored by Parcells, been mentored by Peyton, he's been mentored by Campbell. He's a part of a regime right now, which was the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets. Very similar to the New York Jets, the Lions have been a dumpster fire, a joke of a franchise. And he's been part of that rebuild that has brought them to the world of relevance. They're Super Bowl favorites now for this particular season. They're favored to be the ones that go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I think being a part of that process is going to go a long way into establishing that culture we're trying to go ahead and build here in New York. And again, he's done it in Detroit. He's already done it in another major market. He's done it with a trash organization. And now he wants to come to New York and make what was once his home better. He wants to make it better. So I've gotten to the point now where I am on the Aaron Glenn train. I'm on that train as well.
Over Flores?
Over Flores. I would take him over Flores. So
your main reasons being because he played for Bill Parcells for 3 years and he coached with Sean Payton for 4 years?
Yes, and then we've seen the turnaround that the Lions have had over the last 4 years as well. Now, Flores wouldn't upset me, but I kind of feel like with Flores, you kind of have an idea of what you're going to get. Perhaps, maybe he's learned a few more things on how to better deal with personnel. But I think some individuals, man, at your core, you're always going to be who you are. He might have learned some things until things hit the fan, and when things hit the fan is when you're really going to be able to see the character of somebody. It's cool now for him to say all the right things, on the Minnesota Vikings team where he's led that defense, that team, what I'm saying, to a run into the playoffs. They've been very successful. It's easy to be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this and I'm going to do that. But in terms of adversity, once that stuff hits, that's when you're going to really see the character of individuals. And 9 out of 10 times, individuals resort to what they know. I just look at Flores and I think that it's wouldn't be the worst hiring. But again, we kind of have an idea of what that ceiling looks like. Yeah, we'd get a more disciplined team. I can see that as well. Yeah, we'd probably compete a little bit against the likes of, against the Patriots and against the freaking Dolphins. But what it boils down to is I think Aaron Glenn brings us a level of hope that we don't know what it could be like. The ceiling really could be, the New York Jets or the Detroit Lions story, over the next couple of years. Or are we just a borderline French playoff team with a guy like Flores, who that's what he was when he was a Miami Dolphin head coach? So for me, I just think the Aaron Glenn aspect, I'm just sold, man. And I think for his press conference the other day, talking about that when he becomes the head coach, you're getting a head coach, not just a defensive-minded guy, a guy who already understands, like, listen, I'm in charge of the offense as well. That press conference, if I'm being honest, was probably the one that really kind of pushed me over the edge, where he talks about how, like, for being honest, I'm the head coach and I understand offense, I understand defense. I'm not just a defensive coach, I'm a coach. So he's already making it known that he's going to have his hand on every part of the team, which is what we want, that CEO type. He's already establishing, like, I'm not going to be a defensive coordinator. I'm going to be the head coach of that organization. So for me, I'm Team Aaron Glenn, and I hope he's the pick because, again, of the options we currently have, I just feel like he brings the most hope. Whereas we kind of know what the ceilings are of.
I don't know. I don't know how you say that you know what the ceiling is when he had 3 years and he busted the Dolphins for all that shit they were pulling. And he gets, like, dude, look at his mentors. Belichick for 15 years, Tomlin for a year. I mean, it's the same kind of thing, but we're talking about staying in the same organization that won fucking 6 Super Bowls, then went to Miami, turned that shit franchise around to 2 winning seasons. I don't know how we can say ceiling. Now, look, I want you to know, I think Aaron Glenn's going to end up being the coach, but I don't know. Like, everything you said is like, it's called perceived value, right? So it's like, yeah, well, we think he could. He was a Jet. Like I was telling everybody before, the only thing I think that makes people think Aaron Glenn, unless, look, and we don't know what he'll be. He could be great. Obviously, if he comes, I hope he is. But it's like the idea that a guy who's done it and has 2 out of 3 winning seasons, least penalized team in the NFL, or top 3 anyway, least penalized team in the NFL, with the mentorship of, coming out of that Belichick and then spending time with Tomlin, now with O'Connell up there in Minnesota. The idea that Aaron Glenn is a better candidate is based in emotions. Like, so we're like, we love him. We love Aaron. I fucking love Aaron Glenn. Like, how do you not love Aaron Glenn? The memories and all that kind of shit. But I don't know. I don't see it, Gunny. And I think he's going to be the guy, and I'm not going to be upset about it. I like him. But I think once again, we're doing the same thing that the Jets have done for the past 25 years, which is rookie defensive coordinator. Because his, like what I asked was this: if his name wasn't Aaron Glenn, like, why not Anthony Weaver? He's got a better track record than Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, but you're talking about watching what Aaron Glenn has done this season when he's lost his best defensive player, without question, lost his best defensive player. that defense has remained a top 10 unit with a plethora of injuries across the board. He adapts his game plan weekly. Like, I don't
That's
think I've
important.
seen the same game plan twice in a week. Like, this defense somehow, some way has kept up and shut down some of the better offenses in the league. For me, it's that adaptability that we haven't seen that with the New York Jets. We haven't seen that with a solid defense when hey, this is the game plan. We're going to do the same thing every single week. We make slight adjustments at the halftime, but the game plan is the game plan. Like, he's brought his guys out there, but he's tailored the defense towards their strengths when he's lost key components. That to me shows a guy who's adaptable and who understands the importance of game planning for your individual opponents. We haven't seen that in several years. I would like a head coach that can come out here and be adaptable, be adjustable, and at the same time know, like, you know what, we got to go ahead and play the game to the strengths of our team. And he's proven that to me over the last couple of years, especially this year, where I thought, like, man, they're done. This defense is just decimated, and these guys shut out the Vikings. They've showed out for this guy. So I mean, again, maybe you're right. If it's not Aaron Glenn, are we as passionate about it? I think the fact that he is passionate about this job, he also wants to be a New York Jet.
That doesn't matter to me. I mean,
think
if anybody who
also
takes a
sells-
job wants it, you know what I mean? I don't know. That has very little value. It's like Rex, he wants the job. Aaron Glenn, I don't know. That to me, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It has no value. Other than if nobody, like there's people out there that just wouldn't fucking come here. But I don't know. I mean, I think most of the people we interviewed, they came here because they want the job. You know what I mean? So anybody would want, anybody wants it, that we brought in. But I hear you. I think the one positive that you said that I liked is his adaptability. I think he had some serious hits on that defense this year. But I don't know, man. Saying I'm a coach and I know offense, like, what do these guys end up doing a lot of the time? Like, we saw it with Robert Saleh. He was trying to be a CEO head coach, but when he was gone, that defense fell off a cliff, which shows you he was on the defense. Like, remember, we were talking about it, I think, last week, where Robert Saleh said at the beginning of this year, I'm going to spend more time in the offensive meetings. It's like, just saying that tells me all I need to know about how much you were paying attention to the offense.
It took 4 years to figure it out. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to spend more time. Oh, what? You weren't? You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. What was I just going to say? All right, let me bring up a few comments. All right, so you're on Team Glenn. Again, I would be excited about Aaron Glenn. Let me ask you this one more question while Jake is just being silly over here. Who's his offensive coordinator? Aaron Glenn, for you.
I really like the idea of bringing in Uncle Josh as the offensive coordinator. Like, I really do. I think McCown coming in as the offensive coordinator for this role. I just like the fact that he'd be a young guy. He's a guy right now who, of course, we interviewed as a head coach. I think partnering him with the ability to understand quarterbacks as well. That means hopefully, we can develop a quarterback, in the future with a guy like McCown at the helm. I think McCown would be the home run addition at offensive coordinator. Again, you're talking about somebody who's unproven, and you're talking about now an unproven head coach and an unproven offensive coordinator. But I look at what it can be, what it can become, and I think for me at this point, I'm looking at hope, right? I'm looking at these guys who've been on franchises who are winning franchises, the Lions specifically with the turnaround aspect. So I would like McCown. Angstrom starting to grow on me a little bit.
But what about this? Like, so everybody's on, and look, you're not alone, right? Everybody's on the Josh McCown tip. He's got 2 years of coaching, one with the Panthers and one with the Vikings. That's all he's ever done, coaching. We go, yeah, but he's been in the NFL for fucking forever, for 16 years as a quarterback, 12 teams and all things. What about the guy, if Aaron Glenn comes here, the quarterback coach on the Lions happens to be Mark Brunell, who ended his career as a Jet, his playing career, 17 years in the NFL, twice the yards, twice the touchdowns as McCown in their career, but has been the quarterback coach of the Detroit Lions for 4 years, turned Jared Goff from a throwaway garbage trash quarterback into what he looks like today. What about that guy? Why are we more hard up for McCown I never hear Brunell.
So
Why
you're
not?
right. And so I think the reason why McCown is fresh in my mind is because we've already interviewed him and had him in the building. But I would not
Yeah,
be upset at
right.
that. I would not be upset at all if Brunell wound up being the guy. And you're right. Everything you just said there in regards to boom, high-powered offense. He's a part of that process. He was also there for the rebuild. A lot of the stuff you look at when it comes to Aaron Glenn, you would align with a guy like Brunell as well.
That's right.
And again, the number one offense in football was the Detroit. No, I'm sorry, the second offense in football was the Detroit Lions. So yeah, I'd be okay with Brunell. I'd be excited about that. What that could look like.
I would love that.
I
And
didn't even-
he's a
I didn't
Jet
even think
too.
about him. Yeah, he's a Jet too.
He's the
I don't
guy
know why he didn't come to
Sanchez.
mind.
He's the guy Sanchez wiped his boogers on in Hard Knocks. Remember?
That's true. Yep, that is true.
So who's our defensive coordinator if we get Aaron Glenn? Who is it? Is it somebody
Defensive
from the
coordinator? I would like it to be Zimmer.
Zimmer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like it to be Zimmer.
That would be
who was I talking
something,
to?
buddy.
I was talking to my boy Fez about he's a Jets fan as well. And I wasn't even thinking about Zimmer, but he brought him up and I started thinking, I was like, you know what? Yeah, get him back in the game. It would be nice to have Zimmer come through and be the defensive coordinator for this team. I wouldn't be upset about it. I think I've seen a lot of people talk about Allen as well, so I wouldn't be opposed to that. I see Kelvin Shepard.
Kelvin
Connor
Shepard is
Long.
the guy I think he's bringing.
Really?
Yeah. Kelvin Shepard, 3 years as the linebackers coach. He's been, I mean, I've heard somebody say he's somewhat of his right hand.
Okay.
In there. I mean, I don't know how accurate that is, but I think Kelvin Shepard, like he brings Brunell and Shepard with him from the Detroit Lions staff. There's some symmetry there.
Yeah. They work with each other. They know each other.
They know, right? I mean, I think that's important. Rather than like a guy like Zimmer, while there's a obvious reasons for that.
Yeah,
we don't know how well they work. They could be, we don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
All right, Dante's checking in. He says it's Flores. I'm sick of seeing this organization eat up first timers. I want experience, good experience. Plus, we haven't seen Flores' ceiling. He and his roster was screwed over. I know it was like it's a trash roster. I know when people say like he alienated people and all that kind of shit. Like, look, again, I want to point something out to everybody. The positive for me, like he's a Belichick disciple. We know what happens with Belichick disciples. They go somewhere, they try to be Belichick, and they fail. He's the one guy who went somewhere and succeeded. He was 9-7 and 10-6. But the positive is that he's been a head coach, made his mistakes, and we get the guy who's learned from them. That's the positive of having a previous head coach. Like when you look at the Tua shit and all the whatever mistakes he made, he now went and spent a year with Tomlin, and he's running the defense up there for a playoff team, 14 wins, Vikings. You know what I mean? And he's done a damn good job there too. Granted, it's not as long as maybe I'd like, but anywho, I'm with you, Dante. I'm all about the experience tip. It's like, as much as I love Aaron Glenn, it's just another fucking first time defensive. I can't get past it. And again, like if I take my emotions, if I took the name Aaron Glenn away, I think 50% of my like for it would go with it. Like again, if his name was, I pulled up a couple before, and like Weaver's an interesting candidate, man. He's an assistant head coach. He's been with the Ravens for 45 years, and you know what I mean? That's a great organization to come out of, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But anywho, it's like because it's Aaron Glenn, and I think he's earned it. I'm not saying he's not a good candidate. He's ready. He's there. He's a good quality candidate. But for us, the only thing that makes him more attractive than a lot of other guys is because he's Aaron Glenn. That's my thoughts on the matter. Let's see. Sam Aiken checking back in. Can Glenn take us to the AFC Championship? If he gets there, which of these quarterbacks is he taking down? Well, I think he can look, Gunny made a great point. I do think that he's capable of out-coaching someone. Like he's got which I didn't feel like we were doing. You know,
Yeah.
I never felt like Robert Saleh was out
was
coaching.
out coaching anyone.
Definitely didn't feel like that with Ulbricht. Didn't feel like that with Bowles very often. Rex, I did. Rex would pull out some fucking game plans, man. You were like, holy shit, they don't know what the hell's coming at them. And so, because he would change, you know, all of a sudden, like he's blitz heavy, and all of a sudden he's pulling everybody back. There's no
coverage.
pressure to, you know, he's flooding the lanes. So, you know, I felt like that sometimes, but it's been a long time since I felt like we were out coaching. It was like our players were just, they had to play better. You know what I mean? Than the other team. I didn't feel like there was any brains in the eye. I think Aaron Glenn does have that. And it sounds like you agree.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see here. Who else we got? Jake checking back in. Shouldn't we want a guy who actually wants this fucking job? Like I said, who doesn't want it? Brian Flores is coming in tomorrow, isn't he? And he already interviewed virtually. This is his second interview. Isn't that right, Gunny? Is he coming in tomorrow?
Yeah. Flores is it tomorrow? I thought it was today. Maybe it is tomorrow. I think it is tomorrow. Flores is again going back for a second interview tomorrow.
Yeah, he's coming in for, what do you mean he doesn't want the job?
But this is what I think about Flores, right? I don't know if there's a lot of teams willing to give him a job because of the Miami situation. I think the Jets would probably do it because, you know, we're the Jets and we don't give an F. We just don't give a fuck. But I think he's also limited in options, and he's not going to let an opportunity pass him by because, if we're being honest, the Miami thing kind of made him a black sheep of the NFL. So that's another thing too about Flores. When I look at it, and I'm just like, I get it. I understand the why. I just don't know if he's taking this job because he wants a job or because he's like, shit, this is the only shot I got to go ahead and potentially be a head coach again, because he's kind of been blackballed in the NFL. So there's some concerns about that too when it comes to a guy like Flores. And do we have other coaches who are going to want to go ahead and tie the wagon to Flores because he's been blackballed in the NFL? This is a guy that's still currently suing the NFL owners. We want to wear, like, he's still in that lawsuit aspect. So again, I don't know if Flores is excited about being the New York Jets coach. I know you said, like, yeah, he's taking the job. But I think in this situation, necessity might play a bigger role than a lot of us are admitting to ourselves, because of the fact that he's been blackballed in the NFL ever since the Miami Dolphins fiasco.
Let me say this, though. I can see that, but you don't think he'd be licking his chops with the chance to coach the Jets in the AFC East to get back at the Miami Dolphins?
100%. No, 100%. I'm just saying, if he had options, are we the top of his list? Or are we even in the top 3 of his list if he had options? And that's what, like, we really can't gauge, because I think we're the only team that's actually even reached out to him for an interview, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's gotten any other interview requests. So yes, I understand that aspect too. An opportunity to go ahead and get back to the Miami Dolphins. I could see the excitement for that. But I still wonder if you had options, would the Jets still be a favorite of yours when it came to this role? That's the question I'm just not too sure about.
Yeah, I get it. And I can't say one way or the other. But again, like, for me, Jake, the idea that Aaron Glenn, because he wants the Jet, like, it's just big on my, like, any coach, they're gonna want to succeed. They're gonna want to be a legend. They're gonna want to fucking go to the Super Bowl. Like, it doesn't make them want it. They're not gonna be better because he was a Jet. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't see it. I get it. I know what you're saying, but I don't get it. I don't see that as more like, if somebody, like, right? Do you see, like, if a guy gets the job as the head coach of the Jets, you don't think he wants to win the Super Bowl and be the guy who turns this shit show around? You know what I mean? I don't know. So we got our buddy. Thank you, though, Jake. You're my buddy. I love you. Connor checking in. What's up, good friend? There he is. I was chatting with some JetX writers and came up with this regime. Head coach Aaron Glenn, general manager. You got to fucking pick one. What is this 3 shit, Connor? I don't know. Commit. Shit, to get off the pot. Newmark, he's 1 year. I think he was his first year as an assistant GM. Not for me. Those same JetX writers, I'm sure of it, because I haven't in a minute, but I love Cool Your Jets. I listen to these guys and I read JetX. Again, this year has been a little rough for me, but I do. They wanted Arthur Smith as head coach, dude. So I don't forget. That was their number 1 choice, Connor. Arthur Smith. So, but let's see. Spielman, I'm okay with. Gain, Newmark, I don't like. Again, 1 year with the Washington command as a success. I don't, dude. You just took the 3rd overall pick. I think right, 2nd overall pick. Jaden, or 2nd or 3rd, I forget. But Jaden Daniels, that was a slam dunk. He was my favorite quarterback in the draft. And he's great. He changed everything. But anyway, I don't like him. I like Spielman. Morton, I love. Todd Bowles didn't like him because he wouldn't do the run. He wanted to pass. He made Morton is the guy who made Josh McCown look good in the Jet as a Jet. You remember that, Gunny? That was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I remember Morton.
DC Allen, I love. Special teams. Everything else is great. I don't like your GMs. Spielman, I would okay. I think Borgonzi's the guy. I think it's already done.
There it is. Mike Borgonzi is the guy. If the Jets bring in Mike Borgonzi, this is the guy who's been a part of the Kansas City Chiefs organization
for 15 years.
Assistant general manager. He's seen it from top to bottom. Give me Borgonzi. Now, I was excited about Dorsey. I'm excited about Agnew, but apparently they've gotten no kind of traction whatsoever, it seems like. So it is what it is. But Borgonzi getting the interview, I was so excited for that one because that's the dude. That's the dude. I think you bring me the guy who's going to bring with him the dynasty experience to the table, right? And that's who I'm really excited about Borgonzi. I didn't think he was going to ever leave. I didn't think he was realistic, but he took the interview. So obviously he's interested in becoming a general manager. That's the guy.
Dude, think about it, dude. Let's take I did this a couple weeks ago, but let's take a look. So Connors, I see your other comment. Gain would be your number one. And that's I think that's probably the best on the list. I don't like Newmark yet. I don't dislike him, but again, like we can't keep bringing in all these guys who've never done anything. Like Aaron Glenn, first-time head coach. Newmark, first-time GM. You know, he's only 1 year as an assistant GM. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just I'm so tired of just these. We're a meat grinder. Well, let me see here. Mike Borgonzi. I'm going to go through all his positions. Like Gunny just said, he's been with the Chiefs before the Chiefs were the Chiefs. So he's a part of the, you don't know how his decision-making power or whatever. It doesn't matter. He was there. He was a part of it. He's a part of the brain trust. But this is what he's done. He's been with the Chiefs since 2009. Okay. He was the administrator of college scouting. He was the manager of football operations. He was a pro scout, assistant director of pro scouting, director of player personnel, director of football operations, and assistant general manager for the past 3 years. Dude, he went up through the whole ranks on a team. Now, he was there when they hired Reed. He was there when they drafted Mahomes and everybody else. He worked under Dorsey was there. Dorsey did a great. Dorsey built that team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, to me, I would be ecstatic. That's the guy. Like when we talk about guys who've earned the role, right? Like we're so susceptible to like falling in love with the new hot shot, whether it's very rarely it's GM, right? Because the GMs, the personnel guys, they're not out front. But we love the offensive coordinator, the hot new coordinator. We love it. And a lot of the time you look and they got 1-2 years of experience. That to me here, we've seen it. It doesn't fucking work. Now, can Aaron Glenn do it? Maybe. I'm rooting for his ass. I think he's a rare breed. I think he might have a little bit better of a shot than maybe some of these other boneheads that we've brought in. Todd Bowles, the personality-less, just, stood there. Tampa's perfect for Todd Bowles.
It really is.
You know what I mean? It's a soft market. They're like, yeah, don't worry. You'll get him next time.
We made the playoffs. Maybe next year.
Yeah. And they got
I can't believe
shellacked.
the time management thing became an issue again for time. I don't know how long it's going to take you to learn time management as the head coach, but apparently it hasn't registered yet for him even now. I was shocked. Then again, I wasn't. It is Todd
Right.
Bowles
Yeah, yeah. You expect it though. You're like, come on, really?
at this point.
With this
Yeah.
guy? So anyway, Connor, good stuff. I mean, I don't love your. Sometimes I think we can think too much, Connor. I think we think too much. Morton's a great pick, offensive coordinator. Allen's a very strong pick. Rizzy, slam dunk. The general manager, I think we're overthinking it. You go to the guy, they've won the last bunch of Super Bowls. They're the best team in the NFL this year. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC, and he's been there since it's like, why are we out thinking ourselves here? You sit him down, you go, bro, how much money do you need? How many 8-year contract? Is that what you need? You know what I mean?
You want the statue ahead of time? Fine. We'll get you the statue.
You get it
ahead of time.
You get it done. Sodak says Flores is going to come in and not run his 3-4 defense. No, and he should run a 3-4. Dude, the 3-4, look, I'm a big 4-3 guy, okay? I really am. Like the sack exchange, the Dennis Bird Loggeman, Marvin Washington years. Like it's like I think about it in that way. But a 3-4 defense is more versatile than a 4-3 defense. Like when you're built for a 4-3, how many times did we get frustrated seeing John Franklin Myers or Hassan Reddick fucking running down the field in coverage?
Yeah.
Because you can't do the same things. But if you're in a 3-4, you can bring a guy up and be a 4-3 any day of the week. You got McDonald, you got JJ, you draft Carter if that's the way you're going to go. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I mean, I think a 3-4 is great. Sherwood would be good in a 3-4. Why not? Judd, I think both, look, as the middle linebackers in a 3-4, Sherwood and Quincy, dude, I think they're perfect. Perfect for a 3-4. I don't see it. Do you have any thoughts otherwise, Gunny? What are your thoughts on the 3-4?
I mean, the 3-4, I think, is one of those. It's the defense nowadays in the NFL that matches pretty well against those high flying offenses. I don't know if we do have the personnel for it though, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Not all the way. Not right. I agree. And I wonder, my concern is Quinnen. I don't know what the hell Quinnen's going to do in a 3-4.
Like, you going to pay $25 million to Quinnen to
got to trade him.
To rotate. I mean, I guess you would have to.
You got to trade him.
I don't know. The 3-4, I'm a fan of it. I am. I don't know if we've got the personnel. I think we're going to need a linebacker. We're going to need a nose tackle. How do we feel about our
easy?
I'll get you big, right? There's a big ugly to put in the middle.
That's right, man. That's right. I'm with you. Right. I'll get you a nose tackle in the 5th. Don't worry about it. Don't waste your mind space. I'll get you a nose tackle in the 5th. But yeah, I know. I agree with you. And my biggest concern is Quinnen, because I don't think he's a 2-gapper. I just don't. Not. I don't see it. I don't see him as a nose, and I definitely don't see him as an end. They tried to play him end all year. He's very, very little impact as an end. So I don't know. I hear you, Sodak, but I don't know. I mean, dude, if that's what it is, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, look when who was it? With Vilma. Who was it? Mangini that traded? Yeah, I think it was Mangini that. Forgive me.
It was.
But it was like Vilma can't play in this defense, so we traded him away. We got David Harris. In those first 3 or 4 years, Harris was better. Now Vilma lasted longer. But you just get your guys. Take a year, you get your guys. JJ Prevelon says Nagy, McCarthy, Dougie P, all super. Nagy's never won a Super Bowl as a head coach. Dougie Peterson, dude, Doug Peterson has been fired twice.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's referring to those guys as offensive coordinators, because
and McCarthy won a Super Bowl. I mean,
in 2000 and over a decade ago.
I mean, it's a long time ago, man. I'm with you. Like, the time to hire McCarthy was when we hired Gase. That was when he just got fired from from Green Bay. He said the only team I will coach this year is the New York Jets. He wanted to work with a young 1 year, with a second year Sam Darnold. And we fucking hired Gase. We destroyed Sam, the whole thing. But he said the only team I want to coach is the Jets. If not, I'm going to take a year off and come back next year. And then he got hired by the Cowboys. He's done a decent job down there, but he got fired. I don't know, man. I mean, and McCarthy, are we going to keep A-Rod? A-Rod got him fired halfway through the year. They didn't get along anymore. Granted, I don't think A-Rod is the reason you hire or don't hire anybody, but I mean, I don't know, buddy. That's not the strongest list. And I don't hate Doug Peterson. I really don't think they probably should have given him another year, but I don't know. Yeah, what has he done, dude? I mean, there's a lot of people that say that year was all Frank Reich as far as the offense. When Frank Reich left, it was a whole different thing, So I don't know. What else we got here? Who's this guy? Jake checking back in. Jake's got a lot to say tonight. Thank you, Jake. He says, we've had 100 assholes coach us. I think you should be the GM because you care. Do I think it? Well, that's why I should be the GM, Jake. Right? Do I think it matters if the coach actually cares about the team in the same way we do? I think I like it. Like, look, I'm not saying it's a negative. Please don't misunderstand. I'm just saying when you look at a guy, for me, when you look at a guy like Flores, who is a certified badass, right? He's fucking tough. He's disciplined. He's 15 years with Belichick, head coach, winning record as a head coach, least penalized team in the NFL, then causes the whole stir, goes and hangs out with Mike Tomlin, who's another badass, and then he runs a defense for the Vikings and they win 14 games. Like, to me, I don't know. That seems like a pretty good collection of facts that make me say this guy has earned his second shot. That's just me. I don't give a shit if he says I want the Jets. I don't care. If he comes here, he's going to coach the shit out of this team. I get it, and I like it too. Don't get me wrong, but emotions have no logic. That's my whole thing. I don't want to make emotional decisions. Dante checking in says, I would take McCarthy also, but without her. But then, I don't know. I'm Gunny, let's do this. Where are you on Aaron Rodgers? What do you hope happens in 2025?
If I'm being honest, I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback available for next year for our bridge situation. I don't like any of the quarterbacks in the draft. This draft isn't the one you're going to find your franchise guy, in my opinion. I think the 2026 draft is the one you want to get to. But if we're looking at any kind of watchable football or meaningful football, Aaron Rodgers is the guy. He's the bridge quarterback. There's nobody else out there that you can look at and think to yourself, oh, yeah, I'm going to be excited of watching freaking, football on Sundays because we got Tyrod Taylor who's going to go ahead and be the bridge guy for 4 games, right? Can Jordan Travis be a dude? We hope so. We don't know for sure yet. But for me, when you really look at it objectively, it's just if we're looking, unless we're talking about punting on the season, like we don't care, we're punting on the season, then AR is the only guy that I think you bring back and with some competent coaching. Because again, I don't think we had a coaching advantage one time this entire season. If you bring in an adult to go ahead and lead this team, AR was an average quarterback this season. Also, by the way, with the second most drops in the NFL. Again, I don't know how that happened, but here we are again. It's second most drops in the NFL. I think Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance to go ahead and be relevant in 2025. So yeah, I'm on bring him back because we need a bridge quarterback, and he fits the mold of a bridge quarterback.
I agree. I do. And it was a sloppy, painful year. But tell me who he's going to be. Tell me who the quarterback's going to be. I say run it back. Let them have their kind of mulligan year. They all, I don't know. I don't.
Next year's going to be tough because I don't know what to expect. I don't think any of us do. And I think we all agree that we need an adult in the building. We need an adult overseeing this team, general manager and coaching. I think that whoever we put in those seats are going to have the most impact of what next season can look like for us. But yeah, until we know what that looks like, I just don't know I just don't know if it's going to matter or if it's not. Should we get excited? Should we be prepared for embarrassment? Ultimately, if we're hoping to have anything relevant to watch next season, just name the better quarterback that's available out there that's going to give us an opportunity to watch games on Sunday and have a chance. As long as we have grown-ups, coaching and grown-ups in the front office, that we actually have a chance. I think Rodgers being the perfect bridge quarterback, who's already stated he's okay with mentoring the next guy, that he feels like he's ready for that role. Like he embraced it. So it's a guy who clearly understands that he's on the down end of his career, and he still wants to go ahead and give it one more try. He did say he wanted to go ahead and bring, winning culture to the Jets. I don't think he feels he's accomplished that. Let's be honest. 5 wins. I don't think that's a winning culture. This is a prideful guy who would like to go ahead and come back and kind of uphold the promise he made to us as Jets fans. And again, the guy who wants to be here, which is something I know a lot was like, yeah, but it matters, right? This is the guy who wants to come through. So I think for him to be the bridge quarterback next season makes a lot of sense. And people saying him and McCarthy have issues like that. They're cool. They're fine. I think people forget that, like, whenever McCarthy got fired, Aaron Rodgers was actually kind of salty about it because he was never consulted or nobody talked to him about it before they let him go, and then they brought on freaking LaFleur. So, like, a lot of people blamed Aaron Rodgers for that, but he never advocated for McCarthy to get fired. So
yeah, I heard otherwise. I heard he was. Granted, but it's the same thing. Like when Aaron Rodgers is a weird, anomalous guy, dude. He says lots of things, and
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe he gets a lot of bad rap too, which I think is very real. I don't know.
He's very polarizing. He's a very polarizing guy.
JB saying McCarthy's got to say, I know, I hear you, dude. I don't dislike McCarthy. He's had 5 years in Dallas. And they had a fucking stocked roster, dude. And he won one playoff.
Offense and defense.
Defense.
Best offensive line of football.
I don't know. Like you want to talk about knowing what somebody's ceiling is. McCarthy. He's like Norv Turner. Remember Norv Turner, JB?
Oh, yeah. I remember Norv Turner.
Like he was always, and Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer got fired. He was 14-2, and he got fired. Why? Because he couldn't win a damn playoff game. Same thing with Kansas City. He just couldn't win a playoff game. And he's a great coach. I think McCarthy's a great coach, but it's like, you want to talk about knowing what somebody's ceiling is.
McCarthy epitomizes
2010. That. He won the Super Bowl in 2010. Now you don't take it away because it's a huge accomplishment. And he 3 years in a row was 12-5 in Dallas. It's great. One playoff win. I don't know. You want to shoot for something. Hey, I'll tell you what. I'd be happier with that shit than what we've been seeing, 12-5, and but imagine being 12-5, getting in the playoffs every year and then losing. Like I get it. I do. I get it. Here, JJ Prevalon is fired up because McCarthy won a Super. He's talking to you. Because McCarthy won a Super years ago. He's not better candidate than Glenn or Flores. LOL. Also, Doug P won his division and a Super Bowl. Nagy, two other. I know. I hear you. Well, dude, look, all these guys just got fired too because why? You know what I mean?
Like I understand that his resume says like, do you want freaking Bill Belichick walking through the door? He's won a few Super Bowls too when he had a good quarterback and then he could do nothing with or without him. So I understand these guys' resumes. I truly do. But again, they've all been fired for a reason. They've all been fired for a reason. So clearly, you're talking about Mike McCarthy getting fired in the NFC, which used to be a weaker division, but now or conference, but now this season it looked like they figured things out. But like he got fired from the Cowboys. Like he can't win a play. Like I understand that we're looking at like plus 600 freaking winning record all time. I get that, but there's a reason why he was fired because it's 2025. And so what have you done for me lately, league? Are we hoping?
No, I wouldn't be torn up if we interviewed and hired Mike McCarthy, I wouldn't be broken up because he checks boxes for me. He's an offensive mind. He's a winning head coach. He's won so I think it checks the boxes. But I don't know.
Yeah. So, so then he says Flores was fired too. What the F are we talking about? That's a joke. No, Flores was been fired because he was a bad coach. Flores was fired because he refused to go ahead and lose games. Right. And then he blew the whistle that they were trying to go ahead and get in the tank game. So it's a big difference. as to why he got fired.
You're right. He kind of outed the old boys club.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
That's why he got
then he called the Giants out for doing what the Patriots did this year, which is the Rooney Rule bullshit. Like he got a text from the fucking Maras. They thought they sent it to another coach, and they sent it to him. They were still going to interview him, and they already told the other coach, we're hiring you. And he got the text. Why shouldn't he fucking say something?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what are we mad at? We like that shit. We like when these billionaires can just kind of do whatever they want and screw everybody over. No, man. I think good. It's very different. And Nagy, look, I've made the case for Nagy for a while just because people are so adamantly against him. But I don't want him either. I think it's an uninspired choice.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to get somebody in here that's a badass. And McCarthy, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad hire if they interviewed him and brought him in. I'd be happy about it. I would. But again, you want to talk about knowing what somebody's ceiling is. Mike McCarthy walks in here. He's essentially Norv Turner, man. It's the same kind of a situation. It's a guy that just never figured out how to get past. I mean, look, we're talking about 15 years ago. It was the CBA's different. Everything's different. It's a totally different league.
The league
than it was.
Is different, 100%.
Now, but he's been winning. Not this year. He's been winning, so at least you get that. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe reunite him with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Paris checking in. I don't think Brian Flores is a good fit for New York Jets. The players won't listen to him because he hasn't won anything. He's burned too many bridges, and I doubt he can build a good coaching staff. I think that's a bunch of talking points from Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what it sounds like to me, Paris. Why can't he build a coaching staff? Has anybody complained about him up in Minnesota? Has anybody complained about him in the Steelers? And I mean, who's complaining about him? I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe everybody hates him. I don't know. And maybe he's a terrible choice. As far as the record, the track record, Brian Flores to me sounds like a fucking great, exactly what we need. Somebody with some balls. He's from Brooklyn. His teams played this. Look, all that complaining that we get about his time in Miami, they were winning. They were winning games. That's all I really give a shit about. And guys like Garrett Wilson would in my opinion, flock to a guy who's all business. All Garrett Wilson wants is somebody to stop messing around. He wants accountability. You've heard him say
He wants an adult. Yeah, he wants an adult in the room.
He wants adults. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's going to say, no more of that bullshit. You're out there, you're letting up sacks, you're getting holding penalties and false strike. Fucking sit down. Garrett Wilson's tired of working his ass off and being around people that aren't taking it as serious as him. I think he would love Brian Flores. And I think the rest of the team would too. I don't know where that comes from, Paris. Maybe you're right, but I disagree. Jake saying, thank you, Jake. He says, not changing your mind. Do you not think rolling the dice on one idiot who has other options? Who's an idiot? Now, why are we getting so mad? And wants the Jets isn't the best. Wait, do you not think rolling the dice on one idiot who has other options and wants the Jets isn't the best option? No sane person wants this. But why is that of value? Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, of course, we want the guy to take the job to want to be here.
Okay.
But like, because he says, I want the Jets over the Saints, that to me, I don't know. It doesn't have value to me. Of course, to hire him, he's going to want to.
I think he's calling Glenn an idiot for wanting to be our coach. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Yeah. So he's saying, do you not think rolling the dice on the one idiot, i.e. Glenn, who has the other options and wants to just isn't the best option? So I think what he's saying is like the fact that Aaron Glenn wants to be here for this trash franchise, or at least this crazy franchise, when he has other options, is something that we should want because he actually wants to be here. No sane person wants this. We do it every Sunday. He wants it.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, I hear you. That's what I thought. But it's like, I don't know why that supersedes somebody who's been a coach in the NFL and was winning. Like, I don't know. It does that to me is like, that's, if out of the 10 positives, like if you put all that's the least for me. Of course, we want them to want the job, and it does have some. I like it, but not as far as making my decision. That's an emotional piece. I don't give a shit about the emotional piece. Me, I just want a fucking winner, man. I want a guy who's going to come in here and take these people that are lollygagging around and not impact and just sit them down or get them off the team. I don't want them around anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of watching Gibson. I'm sick of it.
Ugh.
Get him to play and be an impact player or get somebody else. The fact that Malachi Corley can't see the field, that Mecole Hardman was pushed off the team, that we cut Codrington, all for Gibson. And what has he done? Like, to me, I want a guy who looks and goes, of course I know. He's done nothing. Get off my fucking team. Now, maybe Flores don't. I don't know. It just looks like a guy that would. So that's what I'm saying. All right, last one for the night. We got to get out of here. Iconical wear. All right. Iconical. There you go. Everybody, buy your Iconical wear. Flores will be a no-nonsense coach. Miami couldn't stop him from winning even for 100,000 a loss. Slightly concerned with the Flores. D was too easy to throw on this year. Can he handle a full team? Well, I think he can handle a full team because he did it. Now, I hear you with the defense, especially that last game. It looked like he kind of got beat up, right? But then again, like, dude, is that what we do? It was one game, you know? So I don't know if good or bad. Like, people say, oh my God, look what this defense. Like, all right, but that's one game. You know, I don't know.
With Flores, though, I do understand that. This is the guy that you got to respect because he did throw money away to win. The guy hates to lose more than he loves winning. And you want that kind of a guy in the building, right? Because the pure fact that, like, you know, they threw 100K at him, you know what I'm saying, just to lose. Because, again, the game was meaningless. They weren't making the playoffs. Lose the game, you know what I'm saying, we get a better draft pick. And the man wasn't having it. He was just like, I'm not going to go ahead and motivate my guys to lose. That's a guy who hates to lose more than he loves to win. And I think there's a difference between the people who just love winning. People who love winning is fun, is great. But hating to lose is the key component, I think, to really bringing out the true competitor in you. There's no denying that Flores is a true competitor. There's no denying that. And it's hard to argue when you break it down like that against a guy who could have made an easy 100K, because, again, meaningless game. Hey, here's a 100K bonus. Just lose this game so we can get a better draft pick. And my man said no. I mean, right. He refused. You got to respect that.
I agree. Look, they always say put your money where your mouth is, right?
Facts.
The big one. So with that all, Jake checking in. GreenBean, can anyone get as sick as us without caring? Look, I'm going to tell you honestly, somebody that we include in our batch, that's not a positive, everybody. That means they're a loser like we are. You're like, he's one of us. Oh, no, get him out of here. I want fucking somebody who's a winner.
Perennial loser. No.
That's why I want Borgonzi. Anyway, it's good stuff. And look, like I've told you guys, I do think it's going to end up being Aaron Glenn. That's what I think. I think it's going to, and I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm not. I'm going to be psyched. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be hopeful. I hope he grabs Mark Brunell as his offensive coordinator. Everybody talking about Josh McCown. I wouldn't be, okay, but I don't get it. I just don't see the connective tissue between what McCown has ever done to all of a sudden he's going to be our great offensive coordinator. Brunell, on the other hand, different story. And he worked under Coughlin for all those years. It was a good offensive mind. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot there. It's a lot with Brunell. That all said, I want to thank BetUS for hanging out with us. Don't forget, guys, a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. All you have to do is use the promo code YouTube150 when you go. Where is it? Oh, I'm not over there. Hold on.
Yeah. So there we go.
There you go. Right there. Go to BetUS and type in that promo code YouTube150 to get your bonus. America's favorite sports book for a reason. Thank you to BetUS. Gunny, what do you got coming up, friend?
Got to hang out on Tuesday, so I want to apologize to you guys. I couldn't make it on the show on Tuesday. I wasn't feeling too good. But I'm back this coming Tuesday. And because I was tardy. There will be a CJ Mosley autographed jersey giveaway on my show on Tuesday night.
Woo!
So come on through. We're kicking it off at 8 p.m. Central Time, so that's 9 p.m. Eastern. There's going to be a CJ Mosley autographed jersey giveaway. Definitely come hang out with us at the hangar on Tuesday night.
There you go, man. I know. Everybody's sick, honey. Everybody's catching something.
Yeah, this was rough.
So, all right, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please do on your way out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget Gunny's channel. The link is right at the top of the description, and you can do that. Bet US. With that all said, have a great night, everybody. We will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.